Welcome to our presentation on skill acquisition within children. Within this video, we are going to focus on the skill of tackling within the game of rugby. A presentation by Niall Lewis, Reece Farron, Adam Kirkbright, and Adam Kemp. Our video aims are to show how the tackle has changed over time with the introduction and development of the rules and laws, to provide an accurate representation of how to coach and perform the rugby tackle, and to provide the classification of skill, integrated motor skills, and the information process.
Players 1 to 8 are forwards, and players 9 to 15 are backs. Forwards enter rucks, scrums and lineouts, whereas the backs stay out in open play and try and use the ball as effectively as they can.
The kit that has to be worn whilst playing rugby consists of a team coloured top, socks, shorts and boots. Mouth guards and scrum caps are optional for all players. The equipment used for tackling sessions and warm-up consists of tackle bags and hit shields. The RFU state that risk assessment is a technique for identifying and controlling hazards associated with an organisation's activities. All rugby clubs should undertake risk assessments. Undertaking risk assessments demonstrates commitment to volunteers and the duty of care owed to them. They are also an excellent way to identify and overcome health and safety problems. Tackle is an essential skill for winning the ball back in rugby or stopping an attacking player. It is very important to complete it with good timing and technique to prevent injury or accidents.
Tackling is a physical aspect within rugby and is finished when the player attacking is held on the floor by a defender. If the defender does not hold on, the attacking player may carry on. Certain rules help referee and play a role within tackling for the reasoning of legality and safety.
The tackle law is Law 17 and looks at the current rules of what the tackler must do for safety and legality. This also looks at what the player being tackled must do once tackled. The tackle laws have changed numerous amounts of times, and the key rule that has changed is the height of the tackle. The reasons for change within the laws are the safety of the players within the game. A tackle is successfully completed when the ruck has formed over the top of the tackle or the ball has left the tackle area. There are 4 types of continuums when looking at classification of skill. These are open to closed, discrete to serial, serial to continuous, self-paced to externally paced, and gross to fine. The rugby tackle is an open, discrete, serial, fine, and externally paced skill. The tackle is all of these because it changes every time, as it externally paced by the player on the other team carrying the ball. There are fine aspects in the skill, in the tackle, which can be seen in the hands holding together to create the ring of steel, and is a discrete skill as it has a clear start and end. It is a gross skill because it uses large muscle groups. In order to use your muscles, your central nervous system sends signals to your muscles for you to carry out the tackle.
We chose the rugby tackle because it is a skill that is constantly under debate and change, and that we can see the development of the tackle from the early stages and how it has changed to become one of the most technical and most crucial part of rugby. As you can see, in the early years, rugby was an unorganised sport where the tackle had little to no rules except for to stop the opponent with the ball. As time went on, the rules and laws of rugby changed to improve the organisation, the flow of the game and the health and safety for the players to reduce the amount of injuries, especially concussion.
As we can see in the modern day game, the technique has come a long way. In this clip we can see Elliot Daly trying to get into the Tower of Power and create the ring of steel to make an effective tackle. Here we can see South Africa playing England under 20s. In a moment we see a high tackle. This shows old traits from the tackle. As we can see, the high tackle was ineffective and did not make the player stop, but followed by the number 10 using the technique to pull the player down from a Tower of Power position.
Tackling in rugby changes depending on the age of the participants. The first version of tackling is introduced to under 9s. At this stage, tackle includes holding a player and stopping their momentum. At under 10s, the rule changes to where only taking a player to the ground counts as a full tackle, and if they're held up, it becomes a maul. A dynamic warm-up is the best warm-up as this stretches the muscles through the use of movement. This is why games are used within a warm-up, as it gets participants running around and can be tailored with different stretches to mimic the activities in rugby. An example of a warm-up would be stuck in the mud. A rule change for this could be using squat jumps when stuck and bear crawls through the legs to unstick a teammate.
The aim of our session is to teach and improve the tackle technique safely and successfully. The objectives are everyone should be able to fall successfully, most will be able to successfully and safely tackle a static player, some will be able to make a successful and safe tackle on a moving opponent. Our extended objectives are to be able to perform a successful and safe tackle within the game of rugby.
Over the fall, okay? From talking about it, what do we think we're doing? Okay, perfect. Show me an example. Okay, good. What hit the floor first there? My hands. Okay. This time, I want you to really think about keeping your hands in. Imagine you're holding the ball. Okay. Start with your knee, progress to your hip, then your shoulder. Okay. Good. Let's try that for me. Good. And then present the ball. Good. We're going to go over the tower power now. Okay. So feet shoulder width apart from this. Okay. You want to bend your knees just so you can't see your toes anymore. Okay. Push your bums out. Okay, bring your gut in. Okay. And then you want your head in a neutral position so you're looking through your eyebrows. Okay, good. Reece, just have a look at Niall's body position for me, okay? What do you notice about his back? Arch, yeah. So let's bring your back a little bit further down. Okay, good, nice and flat back. Good, looking through your eyebrows. Happy with that, both of you? Good, okay. Good, okay, so we're getting the ring of steel, okay, cheek to cheek, and we're trying to make sure we finish on top of them by driving them sideways. Good, great body position to finish. Let's do it again then. Okay, so head cheek to cheek. Perfect. Okay, so we're making sure that our hands are together. Okay, we're tight, cheek to cheek, and then you're going to drive through. Good, finishing on top. Good. Okay, let's do it with the other arm. Okay, so we can see the ring of steel, cheek is on cheek, and he's going to end up on top of Niall. Good, perfect body position. Okay. Make your ring of steel, please, Reece. Good, cheek to cheek. Great, and then bring his leg in and drive through. Good. Okay, and then do the other arm flip.
Here we can see Reece using intrinsic feedback. This is through Reece knowing that he performed the wrong technique by putting his hand out. He corrected this in the second tackle by making sure his ring of steel was correct, preventing injury.
Okay, so you really want to try and get into his legs. Okay, so in tower power, right arm out. Okay, focusing on getting that ring of steel and tacking low and trying to drive him back down to the floor. Good, let's have a go at that then. Nice, good. Okay, let's try the other shoulder. Good, so let's really try and focus on getting the meatiest part of the leg. Nice, good. Okay, make sure we finish with that ring of steel, nice and strong. Okay? We're going to progress it another step further, okay? We're going to go into the jogging tackle, into the tower power. So, Niall, can you come and do your tower power here for me? Okay, starting with your right arm out, okay? Where are you aiming on his leg?
Throughout the coaching session, we can see Adam using different types of feedback. Here we can see Adam using augmented feedback, which is the use of question and answer. He uses this method of feedback because it helps improve knowledge of performance and results.
Thighs, why are we aiming at thighs? Meatiest area, softest part, use have a cushion, prevent any injuries, okay? Good. You're just going to jog it in, okay? And you're not going to try and stop, you're just going to go until we can get you down. Good. Let's have a go then, arm out. Good, great tackle. Great ring of steel. And you finished on top. Really good there. Let's try on the other arm then. Yeah, great tackle. Head perfect position.
For an effective cooldown, it is important to gradually lower the intensity of the session. This can be done by decreasing the pace and exertion of the activities. Another option could be to finish the session and go straight into a jog and progress to walking, as this will take the players out of a rugby mindset to allow for a mental cooldown as well as a physical cooldown. It is important to stretch during the cooldown, as stretching will help to relax the muscles and lower the risk of injury, restore them to the resting length, whilst preparing them for the next session, whether that will be in an hour or a day's time.
Looking at integrated motor skills and training theory, we are able to see that the first stage of learning the skill takes a longer time to complete. At this point, the skill is in the short-term sensory store, which maintains information for up to a second. It then progresses to the second stage of learning and consolidating. This starts to become part of the short-term memory, and the skill takes less time to perform as they have had more time to rehearse the skill. The short-term memory stores up to 120 seconds worth of information. The final stage is the tuning stage, where it becomes part of the long-term memory as the participant has rehearsed the skill multiple times. Once in the long-term memory, the skill becomes autonomous.
Looking at the Schmidt and Risberg 2008 information processing, we are able to see that the stimulus enters and the process through to the reaction of the muscle.
Within the Schmidt and Risberg model, we can see that there is a comparator section. Comparing this to the Kim, Ritter and Kubek model of integrated motor skills, we are able to see that as time goes on and the more trials they have, the quicker the process goes through the brain to make a decision and perform the tackle.
There are multiple stimulus entering the brain throughout the video. The decisions made were through the process of information, which was the choice to make the tackle on the incoming player or to try and cut off the player earlier. Once a decision has been made, the muscles start to react and commit to the decisions made. In the examples, the decisions made were incorrect and resulted in the opposition scoring a try. In this clip, we are able to see that the information is being processed. Again, there are multiple stimulus entering into the brain. At first, we are able to see number 12 commits to making a tackle on the player who was carrying the ball. Number 11 does not commit to the tackle, as he has the stimulus of the player running at him as well as the player on the outside of him that could also receive the ball. Once the play is brought back in, number 8 makes the tackle, as the stimulus coming in for him is that the player is running at him and the tackle needs to be made.
Using the Schmidt and Risberg model, you can see that my stimulus was a 10 being past the ball. Using the information processed, my motor outcome was to run and tackle the 10. Unfortunately, I chose the wrong response, which meant I performed a late tackle.